Welcome students. So today we'll discuss some of the CET questions. So as and when the synopsis is required or if something additional is need to be explained, then I'll explain according to the questions. So the first question is, if f of x is equal to log 1 minus x by 1 plus x to the base e, mod x is less than 1, then f of 2x divided by 1 plus x square is equal to. So by here you can see that the function is defined in terms of log, and when the log is defined only for positive integers including positive real numbers including 0. So that's why they have taken the condition that modulus of that should be why they have taken that mod x should be less than 1, because if it is more than 1 then it becomes 0 by something which becomes a negative value. Okay, mod x, if it is greater than 1, then 1 minus x will be a positive negative value. So log of negative value is not defined. That's why they have given the condition that mod x should be less than 1. So what we have to find? We have to find what is f of 2x divided by 1 plus x square. So how to go about this? So whenever we have f of x is equal to log 1 minus x by 1 plus x, what does that mean? For this particular x, this is the value. Then if you have, which means x is just a representation. Suppose you have f of 1, wherever you have f of, if you have 0.5, okay, f of 0.5. So wherever you have x, replace it by 0.5. So that is how this works. Now, instead of x, now we have to substitute for x as 2x divided by 1 plus x square. So what we'll get? We have f of x is equal to log 1 minus x by 1 plus x to the base e. So we need to find what is f of 2x divided by 1 plus x square. So what it will be, wherever I have x in this term, f of x is this. So instead of x, I have f of 2x divided by 1 plus x square. So wherever I have x, I have to replace it by this particular term. That is 2x divided by 1 plus x square. So what will I get? So this is what we have to find. So f of 2x divided by 1 plus x square is, wherever you have x, replace it by this particular term. So it is 1 minus x I have, but x is replaced by 2x divided by 1 plus x square whole divided by 1 plus 2x divided by 1 plus x square to the base e. So that is nothing but log, here you can see there is a fraction. So by now you know how to solve the fraction. So what we'll do, we'll make the denominator common. So I'll multiply this over here. So I'll be remaining with 1 into 1 plus x square minus 2x divided by 1 plus x square whole divided by, again here we have a fraction in the denominator. So again I have to multiply. So it is 1 into 1 plus x square plus 2x divided by 1 plus x square. Okay, so that is equal to log into 1 into 1 plus x square is 1 plus x square minus 2x divided by 1 plus x square whole divided by 1 plus x square plus 2x divided by 1 plus x square to the base e. So you can see 1 plus x square get cancelled. So what is remaining? Log 1 plus x square minus 2x divided by 1 plus x square plus 2x. So when you see this, I think you can, when you see the numerator and denominator, something will strike to you. What is 1 plus x square minus 2x? It is nothing but, what is the expansion of 1 plus x whole square? You have to expand using a plus b whole square. So what is a plus b whole square? It is a square plus 2ab plus b square. So it will be a square is 1 square plus b square is x square plus 2ab is 2 into x. Similarly, what is 1 minus x whole square? It is a square plus b square minus 2ab. So it will be 1 plus x square minus 2x. So you can see 1 plus x square minus 2x is 1 minus x whole square, and 1 plus x square plus 2x is 1 plus x whole square. So our term will be reduced to log e into 1 minus x whole square divided by 1 plus x whole square. Now you can see that x square is common, so I'll write it together, 1 minus x by 1 plus x whole square. But I don't have the option in the terms of log. I have to write it in terms of f of x, in terms of the function they have given. So we have log m power n is n log m, correct? We know this, log m power n is n log m. So here it is, you can see log m, in place of m I have 1 minus x by 1 plus x, n in place of n I have 2. So applying this, we'll get, it is 2 times log of 1 minus x by 1 plus x. So, but what is log of 1 minus x by 1 plus x? It is nothing but our f of x. So, what is the correct option? 2 into f of x. Hope this was clear. So, we'll move on to the next question. Okay, so what is the next question? Let f of x is equal to a power x. Okay, then it can be written as f of x is equal to f1 of x plus f2 of x. So what they have told, the given function f of x is equal to a power x, you can write it as a sum of two functions as well, f1 of x and f2 of x. Now what is f1 of x and f2 of x? f1 of x is a even function and f2 of x is an odd function. So now what do you mean by even function and odd function? So even function is those functions, okay, even functions are those functions, even after replacing x by minus x, if you get it equal to f of x. For example, suppose you take f of x is equal to 2x square. Okay, f of x is equal to 2x square. What is f of minus x? F of minus x is wherever you have x, you have to replace it by minus x. So 2 into minus x square. What is 2 into minus x square? It is nothing but 2x square. But what is 2x square? Is f of x. So even after replacing x by minus x, if you are getting it is equal to, the function is equal to the given function, that is f of x itself, then such functions are called as even function. That is, the negative sign doesn't change the function. Negative sign doesn't change the function. Now what do you mean by odd function then? Odd function, again the same definition, f of minus x will be minus of f of x. So if you replace x by minus x, you'll get f of minus x is equal to minus f of x. For example, suppose f of x is equal to 2x. Then what is f of minus x? Is equal to 2 into minus x. This minus I can take it out. So minus 2 into x. But I know 2x is nothing but f of x. So it is minus of f of x. So you can see here f of minus x is minus of f of x. So if the negative sign, if the negative variable becomes, if you put negative variables, so f of minus x will be equal to minus f of x, then such functions are called as odd functions. Okay, so I hope the definition is clear about f1 even function and odd function. So we have to find what is f1 of x plus y plus f1 of x minus y. So how to do this? I have a power x, okay, I have a power x. Now how to write a power x as sum of two functions, where the first function should be a even function and the second function should be a odd function. So what I'll do, I'll take f1 of x as 1 by 2 into a power x plus a power minus x, okay, and I'll take f2 of x is equal to 1 by 2 into a power x minus a power minus x. You just check when you add f1 and f2 whether you'll get f, because if you add f1 and f2, what you'll get? 1 by 2 a power x plus 1 by 2 a power minus x plus 1 by 2 a power x minus 1 by 2 a power minus x. So a power minus x cancels. Half of a power x plus half of a power x will be 1 a power x. So you can see that these two are nothing but is equal to f of x. So when you add f1 of x plus f2 of x, you'll get f of x. One more condition which we have to verify is we have to check whether this first function f1 of x is a even function and f2 of x is a odd function. So how to check? Where in f1 of x, put instead of x, substitute it by minus x. So what you'll get? You'll get a power minus x plus a power minus of minus x. Minus into minus is plus, which is again nothing but f1 of x. So clearly this function is a even function. And if you put f2 of minus x, you'll get the negative sign, which means this is an odd function. Hope this was clear. So now what we have to find? We have to find what is f1 of x plus y plus f1 of x minus y. Okay, so f1 of x plus y will be half of a power x plus y plus a power minus of x plus y plus half of a power x minus y plus a power minus of x minus y. We are just substituting in place of x, we are substituting x plus y in f1 of x. So wherever there was x, I have resubstituted it as x plus y. So what will I get? Keep half, you can see half is common, so I'll take half outside. So what is remaining? A power x plus y plus a power minus 1 into x is minus x, minus 1 into y is minus y, plus a power x minus y plus a power minus x, minus into minus is plus y. Okay, so next what we'll do, see, we know that a power, if we have m plus n, it is nothing but a power m into a power n. So I'll apply this over here. So it is a power x into a power y plus a power minus x into a power y minus y plus a power x into a power minus y plus a power minus x into a power y. Now what I'll do is, I'll take a power x terms together and a power minus x terms together. So from that you can see that half is common. A power, if you take these two terms, the first and third term, a power x is common. What is remaining? A power y plus a power minus y. Similarly, if you take the second and fourth term, you can see that a power minus x is common. What is remaining? A power minus y plus a power y. So you can see that half into, in both the term, the first term and the second term, a power y plus a power minus y is common. So if I take it out, a power y plus a power minus y into what is remaining? A power x plus a power minus x. You can see the options are in terms of the functions f1 and f2. So what I'll do, in order to write f1 of y, I can write this is f1 of y, because f1 of x is 1 by 2 of a power x plus a power minus x. Here in place of x I have y, but I can't write anything about, I can't do anything about this term. So what I'll do, I'll multiply and divide by 2. Okay, so that this term can be replaced by f1 of x. So 2 was remaining, it will be f1 of y into f1 of x. So our correct option is option B. Okay, so the next question is related to composition of functions. All these things you have studied in your regular class, so there is no need of explaining the synopsis again. You will be knowing the concepts clearly. That's why we are taking only such questions today. Okay, for x belonging to R minus closed interval 0, 1. So x belongs to all, you can take any real number except from this interval, including 0 and 1. Okay, and what they have defined, f1 of x as 1 by x, f2 of x is 1 minus x, and f3 of x as equal to 1 by 1 minus x. Okay, so they have told that if a function g of x satisfies this condition, that is f2 composition j composition f1 of x is equal to f3 of x. So if it satisfies this particular condition, then what kind of function is j? So we have to find the function j. Now how to find the function j? First we'll write whatever we have. So we have f1 of x is equal to 1 by x, f2 of x is equal to 1 minus x, f3 of x is equal to 1 by 1 minus x. Okay. Now what is f2? We know that f2 composition, j composition, f1 of x is equal to f3 of x. We know this. Okay, f3 of x. So we'll substitute. How to write this? Whenever we have composition, f composition, g composition, h of x, it means that f of g of h of x. Okay. Similarly, I'll apply the same thing over here. So it is f2 composition of j of f1 of x is equal to f3 of x. Now whatever I know, I'll substitute. So f2 of j of, what is f1 of x? f1 of x is nothing but, we have f1 of x is 1 by x is equal to, what is f3 of x? Is 1 by 1 minus x. Okay. So next, what can be done? We know f2 of x is equal to 1 minus x, but I don't know, what the thing is, we don't have the value for g of x. That is what we have to find. So what I'll do, I know the value of f2 of x. So f2 of x is 1 minus x, but instead of x, now I have a function. So wherever I have x, I'll replace it by j of 1 by x. So it is 1 minus j of 1 by x is equal to 1 by 1 minus x. Okay. So next, what I'll do, I need, if I get j of 1 by x, from that if I take the reciprocal, if I replace x by 1 by x, I can get what is j of x. So what I can do is, I'll take this minus j of 1 by x to the other side. So it is 1 minus 1 by 1 minus x is equal to j of 1 by x. So again, it is a fraction. To simplify, I'll cross multiply. So it is 1 minus x into 1 minus 1 divided by 1 minus x is equal to j of 1 by x. So that is 1 minus x minus 1 divided by 1 minus x is equal to j of 1 by x. So plus 1 minus 1 get cancelled. So we will be left out with minus x divided by 1 minus x, which is equal to j of 1 by x. We got what is j of 1 by x. What actually we wanted is j of x. So what can be done? Wherever I have to replace 1 by x by x. So wherever I have x, I have to replace it by 1 by x. So it becomes, so j of x is nothing but minus 1 by x divided by 1 by 1 minus x. So that is, what we'll get? Minus 1 divided by x into 1 into 1 by x. So that is minus 1 minus 1. Okay. So you can see that j of 1 by x is minus x by 1 minus x. So there is a, whatever I explained earlier, it was a bit mistake. So I'll correct it. So it is j of x will be minus 1 by x. So wherever I have x, I have to replace it by 1 by x. So it is 1 minus 1 by x. So what we'll get? Minus 1 by x divided by x minus 1 by x. Correct? So you can see that x we can cancel. So we'll be left out with minus 1 by x minus 1. But we don't have anything as such minus 1 by x minus 1. You can see the options are in the terms f, the functions which already we know. So we can see f3 is nothing but 1 by 1 minus x. What we got is minus 1 by x minus 1. So what I can do, from the denominator, if I take minus 1 common, I'll be left out with 1 minus 1 by x. So that gives 1 by 1 minus x, which is nothing but f3 of x. So the correct option is option A. Okay. So we'll go for the next question. What is the next question? Let L denote the set of all straight lines in a plane and relation R is defined. How it is defined? If you take any two lines from the set of set L, so how it should be related in order to, so that it belongs to the given relation, one line should be perpendicular to the other. Okay, only then that particular line ordered pair, or the ordered pair of lines will be in the set R. So we have to check whether that relation is reflexive, symmetric, transitive, or none of this. So what they have told, we are taking set of lines, and how the relation is defined, alpha comma beta. So you have to take two lines. How it should be, alpha should be perpendicular to beta. So if you take, so to check for reflexive, what reflexive means, it means of the ordered pair of the same, that is alpha comma alpha, whether alpha comma alpha belongs to our given relation, because our relation is defined that it contains only those ordered pairs, that is only those lines which are perpendicular to each other. Whether the same line, if this is alpha, whether this is perpendicular to itself, no, this is always parallel, or it is it is in the same line. You can see that. So what does that mean? Alpha, the given relation is not reflexive. So when it comes to symmetric, if alpha comma beta belongs to R, if we get beta comma alpha also belongs to R, then we can say that that particular relation is symmetric. But what do you mean by alpha comma beta belongs to R? That means alpha is perpendicular to beta. Alpha is perpendicular to, this is beta, this is alpha. Alpha is perpendicular to beta. So if I take the reverse, what will I get? You can see that beta is also perpendicular to alpha, correct? You can see that. So beta is also perpendicular to alpha. If beta is perpendicular to alpha, according to the definition of the relation, what does that mean? Ordered pair beta comma alpha belongs to R. So this particular relation is symmetric. Now you can't jump into the option B. You have to check for one more, transitivity. Suppose you have alpha comma beta belonging to R and beta comma gamma belonging to R. If you get alpha comma gamma also in R, then our option will be none of this. If this doesn't belong to R, then B is the correct option. So alpha beta belongs to R. What does that mean? Alpha is perpendicular to beta. And beta comma gamma belongs to R. What does that mean? Beta is perpendicular to gamma. So alpha is perpendicular to beta and beta is perpendicular to gamma. So what is the relation between alpha and gamma? Alpha and gamma are parallel to each other. They cannot be perpendicular to each other. So what does that mean? Alpha is not perpendicular to gamma. That means alpha comma gamma does not belong to R. So this particular relation is not transitive. So the correct option is option B. So we'll end this session with this question, a simple question. A relation from P to Q is, this is by definition. So whenever we define, when we started with the Cartesian product P cross Q, and relation is nothing but, it is a subset of Cartesian product P cross Q. So what is the correct option? Option is D. So a subset of P cross Q. A relation from P to Q is always a subset of P cross Q. Hope this was clear. Thank you, students.